All right, Soul Talk with Sandee M. I'm Sandee M, and I'm here to talk today. Just a chit chat. I don't know how deep or how light this conversation will go. I was thinking, though. I was really thinking, and I was pondering this. I've been pondering this a long time, right? Because I've been sharing that we should go deep into our expanses of our soul to ask the questions that we generally ask of the outside world or about the outside world. Let me take a sip of my hibiscus tea. Let me get started. Welcome in. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. My page is about sharing information for growth within your triune self, your soul, your body, your mind. There are many avenues by which, or many infinite possibilities by which we can learn. The divine has all information. It's not just one information. So you might be getting it from someplace else and then come here and it sounds a little bit different. What you need to take from it, or what you should or could take from it, is something that's different that you can add to what you already know. Because that's you building your inner standing with you, your triune self. Right? Doesn't mean anybody else is wrong. It just means that you take and internalize the information the way you want to internalize it. Whether you're listening and internalizing it by your egoic system, which is a part of you, or whether you're internalizing it using all three, body, mind, and soul, or just only soul. It doesn't matter. The play that you're having in this dimension is still the same. It's about you playing you. And you go, what? Me playing me? Well, yeah, your higher being took on your form as the suit or the costume that it wanted to wear, and then you get to play many parts. Many parts. And hopefully you will be playing many parts before you leave this destiny or this duality, and your inner being, your soul or your spirit, whatever you choose to call it, you do that. Because my page is not about arguing. I will not argue with you your point. I will not employ or implore your ego to argue with mine. I am wanting and desiring that my ego understand and is interchanged by my higher being and my conscious mind and my form body. That's my choice. So I am not going to allow anyone to come on my page and argue with me. Especially if they want to argue to the point where on their page they have gotten knocked off their page because they have said that they've gone so deep that they banned my page. Well, then we have to find out, did you go deep because of your higher being or your ego that wanted to prove a point? And then maybe you need to ask, what point were you trying to prove? Because if you're in service to, you would never want anything that drastic to happen to those that you're serving or your greater self. But take what resonates, leave what doesn't. That's just what my higher being shared with me. So therefore, I'm not going to argue with you what points you need to have or don't need to have. You take what resonates for your highest and greatest good, and then hopefully you leave the rest in my on my page, and I'll take care of the energy that's left over. Happy Monday to all. to all that are celebrating the holiday, and to all that are just using the holiday to take a day off and not in celebration of anything. I send my happiness to you, or not to you, but I allow my happiness to shine. And if you want to step into it, step into it. If not, it's okay. It's totally okay. If you are embracing my light language, it's okay. If you're not, it's okay. I'm not going to argue with you whether light language is speaking in tongues, or whether speaking in tongues and light language are not a thing. I'm not going to argue with. Because why? Because I know it's a thing with me. I know it's flowing through me. But it doesn't have to touch you, nor do you have to reach out and touch it. The same thing with the information that's shared on my page or anybody else's page. You take what resonates with you, and then if you're going to someone else's page, you take what resonates from that page, and then you put 2 and 2 and 2 and 2 and 2 and 2 and 2 until you can't 2 and 2 and 2 anymore together to grow for your growth and expansion. And guess what? Once you put all that together, if you want to share that on your page as something that somebody can utilize and take into them, share that. Share it. Definitely share it. But we don't get to tell each other how deep we can go and judge how deep they went or how deep they didn't go by how deep you are or how deep I am. We don't get to judge people by what they should and shouldn't do based on what we do or don't do. We can't tell each other, what they should and shouldn't eat based on. I definitely can't tell you what you should and shouldn't eat based on my body. The things that my body doesn't agree with. My body doesn't agree with strawberries. They may be great as for the God body or for the holistic purpose, but my body does not agree with strawberries, nor does my body agree with shellfish. Right? Thank you, Angelique. Thank you so much. I love this filter. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to say this filter plus my soul shining through is really shining, right? I love it. I just love it. But you get to be you intrinsically. I just not the filter. Okay, I receive. Then I just receive. I am as good a receiver as I'm a giver. Thank you. So let me take another sip of my hibiscus tea. And I'm learning to enjoy hibiscus tea because it is good for blood pressure. So what's good for me might not be good for you, right? And we are living in a form world. So I do have a form body. I address my form body. Can my form body acclimate to my formless higher being? Absolutely. Could I or would I be able to shift my body into enjoying strawberries or seafood? Sure. Get this, if I like them. I do not like the taste of seafood, shellfish. I do not like the taste of strawberries. Ooh, I'm just what kind of person am I? I just don't. But I love the taste of, let's see, peaches. I love the taste of blueberries. I love the taste of raspberries. I love the taste of, I love the taste of greens. I love the taste of collard greens and mustard greens mixed together. I love the taste of hot grits with lots of butter and a pinch of salt, right? Now all those tastes that I love, that I have my taste buds geared for. And get this, we were given taste buds. We should be using them. Absolutely. We spend so much time denouncing everything that's presented here as energy taking expressing the things that we enjoy, that we don't take enough time enjoying them. We take more time bringing them down and reading all the ingredients in it to the point where we don't enjoy it. Anything. We spend a lot of time complaining about what's going on outside in the world, outside of what's happening to Mother Earth, that most of us are not appreciating the fact that Mother Earth can heal herself. And all she needs is our light energy to help her. But we choose to give the energy out there to the outside world, and what those individuals in the outside world are utilizing in their lower energies. Get this, their higher being came to do that. Their higher being came to express in lower energy. So why? If you could just turn around and go, okay, I'm not gonna acknowledge that anymore. They're not gonna get my energy. I'm not gonna talk about that. I'm not gonna go deep and talk about all that and vibrate that out. They didn't steal your power when you did that. You gave it to them. I'm just saying, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. When people ask me, why aren't you listening to more about this war and that, this and that, because I don't want to give my power to that. I don't want to give my energy to that. 66 solar returns around this solar returns around this incident of playing. I've watched wars happen and wars not happen, regardless of who's in power, regardless of if it's Democrats or Republicans. I've watched it. They're both parties are playing the same shit, and you haven't figured that shit out. That's all I'm going to say about this. You got a lot of power. You want to give that higher power and boost that lower polarity up there? Go right ahead. Why? Because that's your freaking free will choice. And the divine is going to say, your wish is my command. Why? Because it's just seeking the experience. It doesn't have a negative or a positive to it. It gave that to you. The divine gave that to you, that ability to you. We're too busy telling everybody else what to do. I can only give you, I finally understood it. I don't have to plant your seeds for you. The divine still has called me to serve, and serve with inspiring and motivating and assisting and handing you the seeds of wisdom and understanding. You got to plant them. And if you don't plant them, I can't feel sad or despondent about that. I can't feel that I let the divine down or earth consciousness down. I had to sit with that a long time. The responsibility of you is on you. Your wordplay, this is the book that I'm writing, is about our wordplay. Not just our self-talk. You can call it self-talk. But words, we play with them all the time. You may call them spells, whatever you want to call them. You're playing with words all the time. But you're letting other people's let them play with words and allowing them to play all over you. And you're not taking responsibility for the fact that you're letting them. And yes, that means going deep and asking some deep questions. You know what questions I wrote down? And yes, this will be in my book. So here's the questions. Why is my wordplay supporting others but not myself? Where does that come from? That's deep. That's going in deep to you. How about this one? Why do I feel the need to find situations and circumstances to blame myself about? How do I change that? Want another question? Why do I always find fault in myself? Where does that pattern come from? And if you say it's a curse, a generational curse, that's wordplay. Generational curse. I have to go and I have to fix it, and I don't know how to fix it, so I'm just generational curse. So you just wordplayed and use the wordplay to curse yourself. Think about it. Right? Okay? Why do I center in on negative thoughts about myself? Or you could say, why do I attract the negative thoughts about myself? That's going deep. But we all want to go deep about what's going on outside in the world. Let's go deep about that. And when we get deep about that, they might shut down my Instagram, and then I know I've done something. For Instagram to have some freaking power over you, and then you complain about that power and then complain about your page being shut down. But everybody knows about that, because everybody is 24/7 pointing all their power outside, talking about everything that's going on outside that has already been talked about. And nobody has moved from the problem to a solution, and talking about the solution and never going back to the problem. Why? Because the universe is in the vibration of the solution. Is that where you should be? You could, or you could not. That's on you. That's not on anybody else that's sharing their information, their wisdom, their understanding, and sitting in the power of the solution. But yet you can talk about them, because they're not going, then in that case, they're not going deep, because they're not doing anything controversial. Ask yourself, why did they teach you in school to go and learn how to what did they call that? Debate. That's for the ego. That primes the ego up to debate. Take it or leave it. That class never interested me, and I didn't know anything back then about ego in high school. The next question I wrote down is, why am I always using my wordplay to blame and shame myself? That's what I it came to me. It's like, everybody's calling it self-talk. That's okay. But how about playing with your words? We came here in this physical dimension to just really play. That's what our higher beings came to do. They came to play on the playground with earth consciousness and her body. We got invited to the playground. Hi, Lady Castle. How are you? Happy Monday. And if it's happy Labor Day, or not Labor Day, Memorial Day, then happy Memorial Day too. Whatever. I celebrate. I just celebrate. And this is tea. This is hibiscus tea. Right? And you're gonna hear there's so many books talking about your divine power of positive self-talk. Some of it doesn't even have to be spiritual. It doesn't have to be religious. It's just talking about being self-talk from from being a lot of psychiatrists and psychologists and even therapists write on these books. Why? because they're coming from it from different points of where they're actually conscious of. And yes, that's right. I said people in the world are conscious. I came out of a type of consciousness into a consciousness of triune. I had consciousness of body and mind. I was always told I was body and mind, and that God was outside of me. And I came into a new consciousness that God is moving in, through, and as me, and I am a soul, body, and mind. You take what resonates, because the divine says that we're all here holding a certain amount of life quotients, whether we're talking about we're awake or woke or spiritually awake or spiritually evolving or whatnot, or whether we're just living the story. We've still got this light quotient that's shining, that's evolving, that's vibrating. Maybe it's vibrating a little bit slower. Maybe it's just shining a little bit dimmer. Maybe some of us are evolving a little bit slower, but we're doing it. Right? What is it about our play, right? Our word play, that we have to allow other people's words to define us, even when we know that their words are defining us. Oh, it's because I've got so much I'm so disillusioned at my family. I'm living with my family, and as long as I'm living with my family, I can't do this, I can't do that. I have to wait, and I have to wait for this, I have to wait for that. Well, guess what? As long as you're waiting for this or that, you're still going to have that word play that is being given to you by someone else, and you are responsible for it. It's not, they aren't responsible for it. They gave it to you. Here's how that works. The law of cause and effect works for them. What they put out, they get back. Not what they put out, you get back, because they did it to you. It's what they put out, they get back. It comes back to them. However many fold, it's going to come back. What they put out, it may be towards you, but they put it out in the universe, and that reaction or that action is going to come back to them. Now, because you took it in, now the responsibility of what you took in is about what you took in. And whatever you took in, if you're giving it out, that's coming back to you. See, your higher beings, mother, grandfather, on down, your ancients, they left a little bit of light quotient in each of your DNA, so that when it came to you and what story you and your higher being were going to play, you had just enough information to play out that story. To play out that story. They did it on purpose. Now, the story that they played out, because their foreign bodies had free will, maybe it went awry, maybe whatnot, but you had just enough light quotient in your DNA from them to move forward your story. Their Akashic records once body and soul. I truly believe, I don't care what you believe what you want to believe. If you want to believe this differently, it's okay. I am not going to argue with you. I believe that the Akashic records, that personal Akashic records of my mother, as soon as her body separated from her soul, there was no longer any need for her Akashic records. It went back to the divine. So people who are reading the Akashic records, they're reading the personal records from the divine. They're getting permission to go there. They're not, if they read something, if they were to read for me, it wouldn't be from the divine of my mother, because that Akashic record is gone. If my mother decides to take on another incarnation, she gets a whole new Akashic records. She gets whole new energy quotient into a new DNA. That's what I believe. I believe when you're telling me you're going in and you're searching the Akashic records for my mother, you're getting it straight from the divine. And that's okay with me. If it's okay with my mother, which I asked her before, but you know what? If I really want to know, I can go and I can sit at the seat of my soul and talk to my mother myself. Because she's always on my right side. My grandmother is always on my left side. The higher beings that expressed as my mother and my grandmother. The higher being that expressed as my father and my stepfather are with me as well. Because they choose to be. So we've got all this information that's being downloaded into us, about us. But who are you? Who are the higher? Which beingness are you listening to? Are you listening to the your ego, that part of you that wasn't put online to discern? It was just put online to give you information. And then with the information that it was giving you, it would go back into what looks like how you performed it before, and give you, okay, you performed something like this before using this. Okay, do this. And you come out with the same situation, the same wordplay about yourself. And yeah, your ego is taking it from somebody else who says, oh, you're so stupid. Well, when your ego delivers that information to you, the way you're hearing it, it goes back into a past event where somebody called you stupid before. And how you responded to that or reacted to that. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. But it's about going deep. You want to go deep? Go deep within yourself, about yourself, instead of going deep about the world or about celebrities or whatnot. Matter of fact, the celebrities have to go deep into themselves as well. They're all playing a part. Their higher beings are playing parts. You get to decide if you want to be a part of that playtime. Because if you're spending a lot of time in there with them, and being the complainer, because somebody had to be the complainer. Somebody had to bring it to the height of awareness, but you stayed there. You get to decide when you're done allowing their world to spill into yours, because they're freaking comfortable. The moment you can go spend $300 to go watch somebody sing, right? And then you get to complain because you can't buy your groceries. That shit is on you. That's not on them. That's not on, and I'm not going to name names because I don't want my page shut down. That's on you. If you spent the money to go see a concert, and then the next day you couldn't pay your for your groceries for you and your kids, that's on you. Or you were short on rent, that's on you. That's not going in and then complaining, well, oh wow, you know, that ticket was so expensive and she should be ashamed of herself. Be real with yourself, go deep with yourself. No, she shouldn't be ashamed of herself. She put it out there and you paid it. And she got paid, or he got paid, or they got paid. That's the higher being. Their higher beings wanted to do control, and they wanted to make money, and they wanted to succeed at all costs. What about you? If you're going to go deep about you instead of about the outside world. And then after you finish going deep about you, and you start correcting your wordplay about you, and you start loving yourself from the seat of where your soul is looking at you, then maybe you can look at the world in a different from a different lens. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. It's the same thing. A lot of people. I heard somebody just I don't know. This was maybe about 3 weeks ago. I don't know. Time just melds together for me. Anyway, they were making a statement here in my building about TV changing. TV has changed, and they don't have anything anything good to watch. TV is just it's a load of bupkis, right? And I hadn't heard that term in a long time, because I used to always say bupkis and bullshit. I got that from one of my uncles, right? And he just it was in our colony, as they call it. They have once a week they have coffee talk, right? And they talk about various different things, and everybody has an opinion. And usually I just sit and listen. And one of the guys said, you never come in and you never talk much. And I said, no, I'm an active listener. I talk. Well, you don't talk much. Does that mean you just don't have an opinion about anything? I said, well, what's my opinion got to do with what you just said? Whatever you just said was your truth. It was, and thinking about it now, it was his wordplay, and that was his truth. You believe that TV isn't the way it used to be, and it's bupkis. It's, pretty much bullshit. That's his opinion. That's his truth. It started somewhere and became an active belief, and the active belief became his truth, and he just voiced it. It wasn't anything I could say. He was looking to argue, but I was looking to make sure my ego got trained in the inner actions of not responding. Because I find in my physical form, I like watching TV. And even more knowing that the divine can give commentary or give information or share spiritual thought about the physical things that I'm watching. But I am not going to argue with you that TV is the boob tube. If you believe it's the boob tube, so let it be so. If you believe that there needs to be a separation of worldly music versus religious or Christian music or spiritual music, let it be so. Who am I to be different than the divine? Especially if the divine is moving in, through, and as me. Who am I to tell you that you can't believe what you want to believe, when you want to believe it, how you want to believe it? I can be just like the divine and say, let it be so. Believe that. You want to believe that you were born a sinner? Believe it. You want to believe that Jesus died for your sins? Believe it. You want to believe that the only way to repent for your sins is to believe on the blood of Jesus? Believe it. Why? Because the divine says, let it be so. Doesn't mean I have to believe it. Doesn't mean that has to be my wordplay. Doesn't mean if I believe in aliens or extraterrestrials, doesn't mean you have to believe it. Doesn't mean if a lot of what I read in The Divine Design by Lori Ladd resonated with me, it does not mean that it has to resonate with you, or the raw materials, or Michael Beckwith's any of Michael Beckwith's material, or any of Michael A. Singer's material, or of Linda Burns' material. Whatever resonates with me doesn't mean it has to resonate with you. And I guarantee you, everything in each book may not have resonated, but there was enough to fill in my puzzle pieces, and then even see where my puzzle base had changed and shifted. And that's why some of the puzzle pieces weren't fitting like they should have. That I learned that I was allowing other people to initiate their wordplay into me, and make their wordplay make it so with me. But if I'm tired of playing on the playground in their section, I get to say no more. I'm done playing. I'm going to play in another section, which I did when I grew up in the Baptist background. I'm done playing Baptist little girl. I'm going to take off that costume, that face. I'm going to ask my higher being, are you coming with me? Because I'm moving. Triune is moving. And then I started going to a non-denominational church and doing the born again Christian thing, and rededicating my life to Jesus. Blah blah blah. And when that wasn't working for my highest and greatest good, I said, I'm done playing on this side of the playground. I'm going to find something for my highest and greatest good. That means every time I have an embodying question, I'm shifting. And shifting is what we as higher beings came to do in physical form. Take it or leave it. You don't believe that that's it. You believe it's all an illusion, and this is all an illusion. Well, what do you want to do with that fucking illusion? What do you want to do with the fact that you figured out that this is all the matrix, and we're in the matrix. We're in the matrix of our mind. What do you want to do with it? That's a deep embodying question. That's a deep dive into you. What do you want to do with it? If you want to spend a deep dive, go into a deep dive with yourself and ask yourself an embodying question, instead of freaking focusing on the world and all its freaking problems in lower density. Especially if you believe you are a higher density person or a higher polarity person and you are perfect, then how are you seeing the 3D now? Because if you're still sitting in the seat of the problem, then maybe you're not seeing it the way you need to be seeing it from the higher polarities that you say you're at. Maybe, possibly, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. You should be seeing it through a lens of a consciousness in the action of the solution. Maybe not. Maybe I could be totally wrong. That's part of your self-talk about yourself and who you are and what you're called to do and what you're called to be, and how you're moving energy. Are you spending a lot of time trying to figure out where your soul, how many lives your soul has lived, and thinking that your physical body was all of them? Are you only trying to be your soul instead of triune? Are you employing being homesick, wanting to go back to Atlantis or whatever, right? Think about this information that's being integrated into you, and how is your ego giving giving you the story? Is it your ego that's giving the story to you, or is it your higher being that's taking in the information that you're getting from everyone, including here? When I read a book, is it your ego that's breaking it down, or is it your higher being that's helping you understand or understand it and take it in? Is when you're taking in information from, say, a friend who says, "Oh, that's so stupid, Sandra. I don't believe you said that. That's really stupid." Blah blah blah. I need to actually listen to which is defining what that information was just given to me. Is it my ego having me take it personally, having me go from a response, or is it my higher being taking it in and saying, "Oh, that's just your perception of how you see me. I'm not going to take that personally, but you're certainly okay to have your perception." Because it's certainly okay to, like I said earlier, it's certainly okay to deep dive into everything that you see outside in the outside world. That could be your deep dive. Go ahead, do it. Is it making you happy? If is it for your highest and greatest good? Is it being offered to you as judgment of everything, or is your higher being helping you discern what is your next move? Helping you discern, going from, "Oh, here's the problem. I'm not going to talk about that problem. It just keeps being repeated. Let me go to a vibrational answer." Right? You certainly can do that, or not. I don't have the need or want to argue with anyone about how they see the outside world. I don't want to argue, allow my ego to argue anything or debate anything. Been there, done that. Not excited about naming names or getting my page shut down to prove any points for outside world or anything. That wordplay that comes in that says, "Well, you should be this, and you should do this, and you should look at this, and you should either be or not. You should be for or not." I'm not saying I need to be happy 24/7, but you know what? I could be. But the duality of the upper polarities and lower polarities are my contrast that gives me the ability to create a life. Right? I mean, I feel that the divine has me all over the place, but it's for a reason. It's about how we're taking in life, and it's not just about our triggers from our past, our emotional triggers from when we were a child. We've taken in information from everywhere, and that information, when it trickles down, it goes into our wordplay. And get this, we have been taught to blame everybody for our wordplay, except, what do you think I'm going to say? Us. We get to blame everyone who who had all the information coming in. Now, maybe when we were young, we couldn't avoid it. But as we got older and we started to have opportunities, and we did, all of us did, to change, we chose not to, because we didn't want to feel the pain of the change. So we held on to that energy. Energy is fear is a thing. It's energy turned into a thing, and then we held it down and held it in, and then we complained that other people are ciphering our energy, taking it away from us, being the energy vampires and whatnot. But we got all this shit backed up, and it's on us. And I'm not going to argue whether it is right or whether I'm right or wrong. I'm going to just keep going to the divine and going deep. For me, learning that I have to go in, I have to feel, I have to surrender it and feel it and release it and let it go, and let it replenish or change. Let the divine cleanse it and transmute it, and understand that I don't have to transmute it. I don't have to do that. Just because the divine moves in, through, and as me, the divine in all its glory can do that for me a whole lot better. And know that it's okay for me to be triune. It's okay for me to see that separateness within wholeness, because that's what I am. And learn that it's okay for me to change my wordplay or my self-talk. But I got to go in deep and find out where that self-talk came from. And then deal with it. And if you want to say it came from, generational curses, fine. Change it. Change the curse. The curse begins with you. Your generations before you, they did what they did in order for this moment for you to have a story. Thank you, Maria. To have a story. Decide what the story is. Decide where all your self-talk came from. If it's not for your highest and greatest good, decide where it came from. Don't put blame on it. The moment you put blame on it or blame somebody else, then you haven't really did anything. Matter of fact, you just took the veil and put it right back on there. Because you're saying, I'm not going to be responsible for receiving it in. Once you take the responsibility off of you, you can't change shit. But if you take the responsibility for it and say, okay, this is my story, how do I want to change it? Do I want to release the story? Do I want to tell it has no power over me? Do I want to give it back to the no thing? I remember in the movie The Labyrinth, she was stumbling on the last words of a line because she was a little girl and she would play, or not a little girl, but a teenage girl, and she would play that she was on the stage and she was repeating part of this play. And part of the play, she couldn't remember the last couple of words of the verse. So when she went into this Nexus world with David Bowie as the wizard and everything, and she was trying to save her baby brother from being turned into a goblin or a troll or whatever it was, she could never remember that line. So she went through this whole thing, and on the last part where she was trying to break free of the vibrational pull or control that the wizard, played by David Bowie, had over her, the last words were, she remembered them. She says, and you have no control over me. And then the whole dimensional world that they were in cracked and shattered. And then she came back with her baby brother into her normal dimension. So what are you going to say? Are you going to spend a lot of time blaming where the words came from? Oh, it's these stories, these people with lower energies, they wanted to have this power, and they have it over us. Do you want to do that? You certainly can, because the divine will say, your wish is my command, and let it be so. Or do you want to say, look, the information was downloaded into me. I have the power. I'm going to take it back, right? From within me. Taking it back from within you, not going back and calling your power from lower energy beings, because you don't know what's coming back with that power, but you got a whole lot in you that you don't even have to call back. You just have to open up and say, okay, let me open up with the energy that I have. Let me release these stories that no longer serve me for my highest and greatest good, and let me give them back to the divine, so that the divine can change them, cleanse them, transmute them, alchemize them, and then the energy that's within me circulates again. And that self-talk changes, or wordplay. I call it wordplay. Wordplay changes. Because you're not thinking about the words that were given to you. You're not giving them any power. They have no power over you anymore. They do have to leave. They have to be surrendered. And you get to surrender them. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. I know that Soul Talk with Sandee is supposed to be a little lighter, right? But it's, it is what it is, It's it can be your deep or not. You can go deep within you and course correct you, or you can go deep within the outside world and try to course correct the outside world and get nowhere. Possibly try to go so deep that you get, course corrected some other way by getting your page shadow banned, or getting people interfering with your message because somebody complained about you, or blah blah blah. But you knew it. You knew going into that was going to happen. Matter of fact, I guarantee you that you probably said it a couple of times. Oh, I'm going to go so deep. It might be a possibility that I might get shut down. And then laughed at it. Right? And then what happens? It's called wordplay or self-talk. It's called energy attracting energy. What else might you call it? Just take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Right? Have the people that came in went out because they weren't interested in what was being talked about. Right? Oh, Sandra, you don't know what you're talking about. That's not for me. I'm going to keep doing me. That's right. Keep doing you. Because if it's working for you, if that self-talk is working for you, and it's working for what you believe is your highest and greatest good, because here's the thing, you can have a highest and greatest good of your ego. You certainly can. Whoa, right? You certainly can. That's a free will choice. And the divine says, let it be so. Why? Because your ego, that system, is yours. There is no such thing, at least from what the divine has shared with me, of ego death, because energy has never been created, nor can it be destroyed. And your ego is energy given to you. By what? Energy. The divine is energy. Same today, yesterday, and forever. Energy. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Energy. Let's see how long I've been. Okay, I got 5 more minutes. Right? So here's the questions again. If you're saying, okay, so what I say is, I'm going to read what is going to be part of my book. I know by now you're saying, what does any of this have to do with how I talk, how I think or talk about me? Well, everything you are listening to you about how you feel is turning into your self-talk. It's turning your self-talk into emotion, and your emotion is being felt through your body, and it's being felt physically as well. We need to change our wordplay within ourselves before we can change the way others perceive and speak about us. How is somebody going to see something different about you if you don't change something different about you? Take what resonates. I have to put in my verbs and everything, but this is just off, the divine was giving it to me and I was taking it in. We must create healthy communication within ourselves first. That means that we must embody ourselves. This means that at a deep dive level into the abyss of our unconscious, and where our wordplay comes from, because everything is downloaded into our unconscious from everybody that's telling us. Some people, if you hear somebody tell you you're stupid your whole life, that's downloaded into your subconscious. Right? Okay? So we must ask ourselves the deep dive questions to start unveiling old stories and old paradigms and old dogmas that are presented to us through our egoic filter. Questions like, why is my wordplay supporting others and not myself? Where does that come from? Questions like, why do I feel the need to find situations and circumstances to blame myself about? How do I change that? Another question is, why do I always find fault in myself? Where does that come from? It's a pattern. Okay? Another question is, why do I center on negative thoughts about myself? Another question is, why am I always using my wordplay to blame and shame myself? Hi, PG Trey, Gratitude Mama. How can we talk to our personality? Is that what your question is? Because I think you said what you're saying now is how can we talk to you personally? Oh, me personally. Talk to me right now. What do you want to say? I got like 5 minutes. Right? Talk to me right now. If you're still even in here. Hi, Domini. Right? I mean, I don't know. Instagram tells me who's here and who's not. Okay, my name is Shakila. I was on your other live. My other live yesterday, there was like my other live, you were on a live with me with someone else, or you were on my live yesterday. I had a part one and a part two. The part two got saved. The part one got saved, but the part two got hung up, and I don't know if it's, if it needs. I had to let Instagram know that it was still processing, but it was hung up. So, Shakila, I like that. I like how you spell that. So, you have a question? I'll wait a little bit just in case you're typing. Oh, okay, there we go. So I've been questioning a lot of things within myself. And I was told that there's a woman in the realm monitoring me. In the realm, okay. Okay, so let's talk about that. So there probably is. There's probably a lot of people in this realm or other realms that might not want to see you succeed. But here's my question. It's an embodying question to you. Do you want to see yourself succeed? And here's the wordplay that comes to effect. Do you want to make your wordplay about someone that you've been told is monitoring you in another realm and doesn't want to see you succeed? Will that be your wordplay? Because that's another realm. Because when you were born into this realm of polarity, you were given free will. So your free will to succeed trumps any free will of anything else that doesn't want you to succeed. It depends on what your self-talk is going to be about. If your self-talk is going to be from the mirror, as you would say, of somebody else that doesn't want to see you succeed, then you're not. You do feel blockage. That blockage is yours, not somebody else's. They put that energy out there and you received it. You can let the energy go. That's what I mean by going deep within you. Find out what the blockage is. Sit at the seat of your soul, meditate and breathe into it and ask yourself an embodying question about where the blockages come from. And here's my thing. What does being a Pisces have to do with anything? You're a sovereign free will being having a human incarnation with a conscious mind. A Pisces is just vibrational vibration of when you were born, where everything was in set in motion when you were born. But you can believe whatever you want to believe. If you want to believe in the signs, and that the signs have a direct correlation and are strong forces over your that take precedence over your free will, then the divine is going to say, let it be so. If you want to take in the information from whoever told you that there is forces that are looking over you or looking through you or sending out negative energy to make you not succeed, whether you take that information in and make it your own, that's on you. not the person who sent it. And if you're seeing signs from spirit, what are the signs from the spirit telling you? Because if it's from the divine isn't going to tell you to give in and abandon your sovereignty. I just don't know what they are asking. Maybe they're not asking you anything. Maybe they're waiting to hear from you. Maybe they're not even waiting to hear you ask anything. Maybe they're waiting for you to give them a command about your life and what you really, really, really want to do with it. Life is not doing anything to you. It's not shitting on you. It's not doing anything. Life is repeating itself because what you put out, it comes back and it says, what do you want me to do with this? You keep, life is saying you are resisting something. Well, if you resist it, it will persist. You know what that means? That means that life will keep showing itself to you until you make either a change or you commit to it, depending on what it is. I don't know what you need to commit to, but I do know that life is presenting itself to you, and you get to decide, are you going to allow somebody else's self-talk or self-energy about you to be your story? If somebody is sending out energy to negate you being successful, you have to decide, is that going to be my story? Am I going to take that in? Just the same thing as somebody sending you out negative energy and it being evil against you. Is that your story? Are you taking in somebody's evil energy and being afraid of it? Because that's the action that energy wants. You're the creator of that energy. If you've allowed somebody's energy to come in, you either be the creator and say, no, not today. I surrender you back to the no thing from whence it came. I give it to the divine so that the divine can course correct it, cleanse it, and put it back out there for fair use. Energy cannot be created, nor can it be destroyed. It can only change. And I surrender it back to the divine. If the divine is what you believe in, I don't know. Those are your stories. The higher beings, the consciousnesses that are the higher beings that did not take form as human beings, are being whatever you want them to be. They're being your situations and your circumstances. They're being the form part of your life. What are you calling? You want to believe in a devil, there'll be a devil. You want to believe in bad energy and bad karma and the evil eye, they're going to be that. There'll be that until you change it. They're going to be your angels. They're going to be your guardian angels. They're going to be your ancients. Why? Because that's the energy that they're going to create from for you. Somebody asked me, well, I need to go buy an evil eye to protect me. Why? You don't believe the divine can protect you? You have to go get an actual thing to protect you from evil? Well, it's not going to protect you from evil because you believe in evil. Oh, what? You mean I believe in? Yeah, you bought something because you believe that evil is coming after you. You don't believe that you're the creator, that you can block evil. You have to go buy something to protect you. I asked the divine about that way on. It works for me. It might not work for you. You might need the evil eye to protect you. Right? It's about your story. It's about what your, not just your self-talk, but what you believe about yourself, what you feel about yourself, how you're growing and expanding. Are you growing and expanding? Some people became awakened, but then they got halted because they didn't want to go any further, because they didn't want to move too far away from family, because family was giving them the self-talk. Well, oh, that's just a phase. You're going to come back. You really don't believe that mumbo jumbo or whatnot. And then guess what? You stick with that self-talk, and then you blame them for you being stuck. I did it. I didn't want to, move too far away from the Jesus thing, because I wanted family to love me. I didn't want them to think I was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I mean, my mom got me, but everybody else, was like, what's her problem? She's going on this spiritual rampage and doing light language and, talking about aliens and higher beings and the law of attraction and she's straying away from, she doesn't even think she's a sinner and all that stuff. But see, I get to decide whose self-talk I want to have in me. And I want my self-talk that is for my highest and greatest good. Now, the self-talk that I may have may not always be that way, because why? I'm growing, I'm expanding, I'm learning, I'm becoming. Contrast is going to surface in my story, and I'm going to make choices. Hopefully, will I always make the right choice? No, maybe not. Will there always be a mistake? And I said it just the right way. MIS-TAKE, not mistakes. But mistake, yeah, there will. Do I get to do it again and make a different choice? Hell to the fucking yes. And then that circumstance goes by way of the divine back to the no thing. I haven't not acknowledged that there's a circumstance or a situation that has provided a need for a answer or a situation to correct itself. I've just put myself in the vibrational moment of an answer. I took myself out of the problem, that vibrational problem, and moved it to an infinite possibility of an answer. Does that mean that there's change within me? Yes, there has to be. Does it mean that it's going to make everyone happy? No, there are going to be some people that are not happy that I change. There are going to be some people that have a perception of me from grade school that they still think I'm the same, whether it's in family or not. But it's about my wordplay, my self-talk. And do I have to change it? Yeah, I probably do have to change it. You can either do one or two things. You can either blame someone else, or you can step up to the plate and go, okay, well, that story that was ingrained in me, that wasn't my story. Yeah, I got that from somebody else, but I'm not going to spend too much time taking on or placing the blame. I'm just going to go in and say, I'm going to take it upon myself to change it. Why? because the divine moves in, through, and as me as a creator, and I have the power and the vibration and the intention to change. And then change. Let me see what time it is. 75:19. So it's about an hour and, I don't know. An hour and, I don't know. I don't do that. They should just say an hour and a half, right? But anyway, so I hope that helps you just a little bit. Yeah, that's how you feel out of place, because you've got all these people telling you information and you take it verbatim. Take it, and then when you get the information, ask within you, who's supplying the vision of the information to you. Is it your ego that's just giving it to you in a lens of judgment, or are you sitting at the seat of your higher being, who's allowing you to free flow in a divine breakdown of what somebody's just told you? And sometimes if you've been told that, in a different dimensional shift, somebody's having an onlook of you and wanting you to fail, sometimes it doesn't even matter who it is. You go, that's not me. I'm not taking that on. Not even from the ego standpoint. That's not happening. Somebody's wishing me to fail. That's okay. Send that. You can either do one or two things. You can send it back to the sender. I don't ever do that. I just give it straight to the divine, because I already know the law of cause and effect is going to take whoever that sender is, and that is already a done deal. The law of cause and effect has already worked with them. They already put some shit out that wasn't vibrationally sound. It's going to come back on them. So I ain't even got to send information back to them. And I certainly am never going to call my energy back from wherever it's coming back from, because I don't know what's coming with it. I don't want it. The energy, if my energy has gone out, normally my energy is the divine's going out to hold space or heal or whatnot. It stays there. Why? Because I've got a plethora of energy in my energy center that's constantly being overflowing. I know I can go get that. You get to take what resonates and leave what doesn't. How it flows. If you want to call your energy back from every dimension and every blah blah and everything, go ahead. I know I'm not calling it back, because the divine has already used it to take it out there to heal or to change or to monitor or whatever. And if I'm playing in dimensions where I left my energy where it should not be, that's on me. I'm going to have to ask the divine to take that energy from there and cleanse it and change it and do whatever it needs to do, because I wasn't meant to play in a past dimension. I was meant to look at it so that I could learn from it and bring it back into my now and utilize it here. Just because we can go and we can be and view other dimensions with ourselves in it does not mean we get to usurp the free will that our other beingness in another dimension. We don't get to we don't get to change that. They have that version of me has free will. It's giving me a glimpse of that version of me in the past. I get to look at that version of me in the future. And in my present moment, I get to take everything that I learned and then course correct my now. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. It doesn't have to mean diddly shit to you. You still do you. I will do me. Right? That's how I'm flowing today. Right? Everybody's going to flow differently. One day to the next. One now moment to the next now moment. Right? And those coming in, my intention is to save this live so that you can watch it from the beginning and take what resonates and leave what doesn't. But it's mainly about what I consider your wordplay, which the divine gave me that to call it wordplay as opposed to self-talk, because we were meant to play. Our higher beings came to play. What wordplay from someone else was given to you that you're holding on that isn't for your highest and greatest good? I'm gonna say again. Here's some of the questions that are going to be in my book. Why is my wordplay supporting others but not myself? Where does that come from? Why do I feel the need to find situations and circumstances to blame myself about? How do I change this? Why do I always find fault in myself? Where does that pattern come from? Why do I center on these negative thoughts about myself? How do I change them? Why am I always using my wordplay to blame and shame myself? Right? And these are some of the questions. I mean, they're no different than probably anybody else writing a book about self-talk or your self-talk or the downloads of other people's perceptions about you that become your self-talk or become the thoughts about yourself. So take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Hi, Diane, Domini, and Lori. I hope all is well with you. I hope this Monday is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful for you. The sun is finally coming out on my section of the Long Beach that I'm in. And I'm going to close this Soul Talk with Sandee M with 10845. I'm learning about numerology and there is so much to learn that the divine wants us to know about every facet or facet of this divine universe that we're in. Not just the negative polarity or the positive polarity, but it all. Will we know all of it? Probably not. Is it okay that we may not know all of it? Yes. Will it be infinitely necessary for us to come back and finish? No. Our divine higher beings decide if they want to do it all again. Our divine beings decide if they want to do it again in the same family lineage or not. But all I can say is this one for me is a wonderful, wonderful ride. I'm enjoying it. I enjoyed marrying my ex-husband and having my kids and raising my kids. I'm enjoying the second half of my life, holding space for my love. She's gonna be around she's in a vibrational moment of accepting, and I'm stepping into that vibrational moment alongside of her right now. And hey, I'm, second half of, the journey. New story. New stories. Because I had a lot of old stories. Now, some of those new stories, the wordplay is changing. I'm excited. I'm so excited. I just can't hide it. I'm about to lose control and I think I like it. I know I like it. So, anyway, I hope everyone has a beautiful day. Peace, unconditional love, wisdom and understanding to you all. I love you.